Welcome, glad you guys are here. All right, I have built a deck today that's really focused on AI. I've run it by a couple of people and they said, Jason, it's way too much. It's just too much. Way too heady, way too up there. So I want to really open up the conversation today to be very interactive. I'm gonna kind of plow through a little bit of the meat of AI today to hopefully jog your memory. And then I'm going to tell you a little bit about Bessire and Associates, just so you know kind of where I am in this space. And then we're going to have maybe some little extra time. We're going to fit all this within an hour. So this content that I have to share could take as long as 30, 40 minutes relative to AI content. I'm going to abbreviate it a little bit to try to get it down to like 20 minutes. We are literally dancing across the top of the Himalayas with respects to AI. We are not going to get down in deep. Brief opening comments about me. My name is Jason. I own a recruitment advertising agency. I've been in the business for over 25 years. I was around before internet recruitment advertising was really around. And then we all remember when internet recruitment advertising came up on the scene, right? It was monster.com, remember 2020 or 2000, 2001. And then Monster was around a while, then it kind of evolved into, who was the next player? Dice.com. Dice came after this. It was, who else? Career Builder at Monster, Dice, Career Builder time, and then Career Builder was around, and then Career Builder was squashed by who? Indeed.com, and then Indeed and LinkedIn kind of stepped in the equation in 2009, 2010, and that's when we pivoted with them out of the job fair business into doing what we do today. We're an advertising agency. So we have clients regionally, nationally, and worldwide that engage us to have us help them and how to spend their resources on those platforms. So we're basically an authorized agent to sell Indeed, LinkedIn, Glassdoor, and about 100 pieces of technology that we are under our umbrella. Everything from applicant tracking systems to texting services to branding services to websites to programmatic solutions. There's a whole cadre of stuff that we interface with our clients with throughout the world. And we have a front row seat to some of these thoughts and to what new products will be rolling out. We are a channel partner to LinkedIn. I was just out at LinkedIn corporate headquarters a couple of weeks ago in Sunnyvale, California, sitting around the table with the C-suite of the product owners who built LinkedIn, who built the new product called Hiring, LinkedIn Hiring Assistant, often referred to affectionately as LIHA, LinkedIn Hiring Assistant. There's also just the week before, there was a huge conference around Indeed channel partners around the new product being rolled out called Indeed Connect. And everything I'm talking to you about, everything today that I'm about to tell you is being girded up by this new use of AI. Artificial intelligence. You see it on when you do Google searches, you see it on your iPhone, you see it in your bank when you go on there and this assistant pops up. It's a little more than just a chat bot now. And it's here to stay. It is just here to stay. So as we work through our agenda today and figuring out what we're going to talk about, I'm again going to dance across the top, then I'm going to get a little bit underneath, but I want to get some of this deeper stuff on the table because I think it's going to jog your memory to kind of think about some other items. So we'll start with, again, how AI is just changing the landscape totally. We're going to talk specifically about recruitment advertising trends. We'll talk about your employer brand and how AI affects your employer brand. Some strategic things to think about relative to right now, how AI is currently impacting me, or I need to be thinking about how it's going to impact me for next year. And then how does that impact the way I advertise? And what are some things I could do to immediately? When you walk out this door, show me, what can I do today? And I'm even going to speak about 2027. So I'm going to step way into the future. So let's get started. Again, here's some quick content real quick. And again, my reviews of this was, Jason, you're just getting way too deep. But I want to just kind of bring some of this thought to the idea that in 26, the war for talent's not just heating up, it's really being redefined. Never have I seen more change than this year in terms of what's going on. Artificial intelligence, it isn't just an experiment anymore, it's infrastructure. And today, the recruitment systems aren't just tools, they're active agents. And in hiring, screening, scheduling, and nurturing talent at speeds humans cannot touch. And candidates, they now expect that their job application experience to mirror how they shop and stream online and how they socialize. They want it fast, they want it smooth, they want it seamless, and with all of this in transforming, they want it personalized. If you're not designing a hiring like a product, you're falling behind. Meanwhile, skills are eclipsing the resumes, so it's really about skills-based recruitment now. Real capabilities are now visible and viable through digital signals that candidates can push out. And finally, storytelling today, it's not just fluff anymore. You really need to be thinking about what kind of story you're projecting about your company. It's a connective tissue kind of between your mission and your people. And then I would say that your brand has got to speak with clarity. It's got to speak with energy. You got to be empathetic across every touch point to the win hearts to your company. So think about that as AI and how that's going to be working into with new rules, new expectations. This idea of skills over pedigree, that was a real shift in the last year. They don't want to just look at your resume and look at what you've done in the past. Now AI is able to look at your resume, tell me what you're doing and what your capabilities are to be taught and trained to do something in the future. And artificial intelligence is going to be able to look at that. Well, if you've been good at doing this, you potentially have the skill set to do that in the future. And that's the way AI is speaking into this conversation. And it's doing it kind of behind the scenes with, like, again, I'll just put it on the table, LinkedIn's hiring assistant. It's an automated tool designed to literally be an intellectual piece of property that you as a company can own as a LinkedIn hiring assistant. Same tool exists on Indeed. Same tool exists with other ATSs out there. And it's designed to help you find them, source them, screen them, scrub them, schedule them for interviews, and do all that for you without you having to lift a finger. And it's really pretty smart, and it's really pretty intelligent, and it really is a thing. So it's no longer, think of it this way. The shift that we're moving from is we used to have a database and you used to have the person's name, phone number, email address, when they graduated from college and what they're doing in terms of jobs. And all these were indexed fields. Spot A, spot B, spot C had this information, that information. Now think of that same information exists in a database, but AI doesn't interpret that as just index fields. It thinks about, it's thinking about your resume. It says, okay, you've been doing this, you are an award achiever, an exceeder, exceeding expectations, some of those superlatives that are added into your resume, and it says it understands you rather than just having indexed information. So when you bridge the gap with a hiring assistant, with an artificial intelligence, it doesn't look at this thing as an index piece of information that you've got to have a college degree. Well, it looks at this experience and matches this experience with almost like a degree, and it actually says, you've got what it takes, or it sees you've got the potential to learn our business because you've got this business experience and that business experience. So it's no longer just indexed information, it's thinking about your resume, and it's saying, okay, and then it wants your input as a recruiter or as a company, and it says, do you like this pool of talent that I went out and found you? And if you say no, then what are some must-haves versus nice-to-haves? And you start talking to it like a personality, like a hiring assistant in such way. So we'll talk more about that in just a second. Let's keep working through the data. All right, next one is AI has revolutionized the entire recruitment funnel, from ad impressions to offer letters. This isn't just an evolution, it's compression. It's not just, what do I mean by that? Well, what we used to take weeks now can happen in hours. Imagine clicking on a job ad, engaging a chatbot, interview, and scheduling a meeting, all in a single engagement session. That's not future state. That's right here, that's right now. Transformative in the tools that are now available to organizations of any size. Small and medium-sized businesses are accessing this level of precision and automation that used to require deep pockets of big HR companies. But now they're woven into very simple tools that you can actually have access to. And as a result, the hiring game has shifted from from being reactive to now proactive, from a concept of being post and pray to now you can predict and you can actually engage talent. So we actually have a programmatic solution at Bessire & Associates that when you run recruitment advertising, and you start the apply path process, there's this little chat bot that will experience in the bottom right-hand corner for hourly type positions, right? And this chat bot is actually pretty impressive. We can customize that chat bot to be a him or her. We can customize that chat bot to a color of a shirt that that person's wearing. We can customize that chat bot to feel and talk like you might need to feel and be talked with. So being sensitive to people, I mean, this is all brand new relative to the kind of person that I'm talking to, whether it be an hourly candidate or a managerial candidate. And you can actually talk to them about your job. How many days off will I get? And the chat bot will talk back. Can you tell me how you're growing as a company? The chat bot will talk back. All from the information that you've loaded into this chatbot. Game changer. And how the candidate feels in terms of the timeliness and getting back to candidates. And then that's a game changer to be able to do that. So it's got data-rich information in the AI. You don't have to just wonder about if your information is going to be communicated at a later time. It's all happening just kind of real time. So let's talk about brand for a second. We'll shift gears. In this area, employer branding isn't just a campaign. It's the full candidate experience. Each interaction, from the moment someone sees your ad to when they receive an offer, is a brand moment about your company. So the companies winning talent today, they understand this very deeply. Job seekers expect personalized, intuitive experiences that echo how they interact with brands as consumers, whether it's getting a tailored job alert or being addressed with cultural sensitivity. Personalization matters. Transparency is another pillar. Salary bands, compensation, remote options, and competitive company culture should be presented up front. So when the values align, candidates engage more. When they don't align, they just scroll past your job. So projecting purpose, culture, and authenticity, they're no longer just nice to haves, they're the competitive advantage. Now, how well are you doing that as a company? How well is your company projecting this stuff? This is the next level of what you could and should be doing, and you start thinking about your brand. So again, branding must align with the candidate's journey. And it's a big lift. Some people are on board with this, and some people are not. I am finding that both small and medium-sized companies, while we are AI rich, this conversation that we've had thus far in the room, we are AI kindergartners still. And it's this year that I'm feeling, us as people, that we're kind of getting a taste of something to come, but it's just not quite there yet. Do you feel that as well? Like, you know it exists, but how do I engage it? You know it's something important, but how do I use it? And big corporations are feeling the same thing. I have all these products and services that I can sell companies, but getting them to have adoption, engagement, to buy it and to trust it, it's a bit of a challenge. Companies, small and large alike. But you will be forced in this next year, 2026, all bets are off. In 6 weeks from right now, you are going to see a huge new change on Indeed.com with a brand new product called Indeed Connect. It was launched and communicated just about 6 weeks ago at their big event that they just had. It's now on the table, and we're just, as an agency, an authorized reseller, just communicating this to our customer base, just saying, there's not even marketing information that we're pushing out on this stuff. It's going to be rolling out Q1 of next year. Buckle up, it's some big stuff. So what are the implications for small and medium-sized businesses versus enterprise? What are those? Well, AI impact is not a one-size-fits-all. It really does create some distinct opportunities depending on your organizational scale. For the small and medium-sized businesses, the playing field has leveled. Intelligent platforms now allow you to automate sourcing, personalized candidate communication, and even run sophisticated employer branding without having huge enterprise budgets. But for the enterprise employers, big companies, the challenge is orchestration. It's not about just integration, it's about integration across all departments, platforms, global regulations. AI ethics are no longer theoretical, they're operational priorities. Regardless of the size of companies, they must now think about it in terms of communities, not transactions. Nurturing a pipeline of engaged talent gives firms the agility that they need, and measuring that journey from clicks to accept to offer lets you allocate smart AI within your company. So you've got to be thinking about all these elements. You got to look at your metrics, and AI can help you analyze this stuff. You got to be looking at how you're integrating it relative to ethics and what the responsibilities are for a company. We were just talking, coming up on the elevator, about Workday's what? Recruitment platform, and they're in hot water with what? Lawsuits going on, and they're having to, right now it's in the courts around some lawsuit. So this is compliance, this is about fairness, there's some big stuff being handled right now. All right, let's pivot and let's change recruitment marketing in 26. It's no longer about picking only one channel. It's really about orchestrating the right mix. So traditional platforms like job boards, like LinkedIn and Indeed, they still deliver value. Don't get me wrong, but, and especially for the top of the funnel awareness. However, there's some real impact coming from a programmatic media play. So advertising in other places like social media, advertising on news platforms, advertising on media billboards on the side of the road, or on just very different ways to go at it programmatically. And these tools allow you to place ads where candidates are, targeting them and then retargeting them intelligently with AI, and then optimizing your budget in real time because you can see where your ads are actually being placed and how the responses are happening to you with artificial intelligence. Our dashboard helps companies see real-time, real dollars on our AI programmatic solution of where talent is coming from, and you can actually see the budget happen in real time. AI chatbots are now a non-negotiable. Candidates expect quick engagement. They keep the funnel alive when the human representatives are offline. And the video content, it's no longer just a trend. Employer brand storytelling and employee advocacy videos have become the top performing formats and have become top performing formats across social platforms. Success demands it, that you use your YouTube channel, tell people about who you are, what you're about, why people want to work at your company, interview that pressure washer person doing their job, interview that chemical blender and talk to them about how do you like your job, how long have you been at the company, and then put that testimonial on your Indeed page. Where does recruitment advertising, where should you advertise? Loaded question. Where talent is looking, for Pete's sakes, right? I mean, where is the bulk of where talent is located? The reason I talk about so much about Indeed.com is because they're the 800-pound gorilla in the room. They control 60% of all jobs in America. Hourly, non-hourly. LinkedIn, how many? 15%. 15%. 60 plus 15 plus the bottom half. Everything else is everything else, 25%. Indeed, still Indeed. And they're just a big bohemian big company out there. So, all right, quickly running through. Data isn't just for dashboard, it's a competitive weapon. While traditional KPIs like time to fill and cost per hire, those do matter, don't get me wrong. They're now just starting points. With AI, you can do so much more. And in 2025 and 26, the smartest talent teams are using predictive analytics to anticipate hiring needs. They're looking at anticipating workforce churn, where the skill gaps are, that your employer brand should also be treated like your growth channel. So think about tracking not just how many people see your ads, think about how many people feel connected to your story at your company. Do I feel, and you can see that with AI on the LinkedIn and Indeed pages. I have the ability as an agency to see how long they sat on your Why Join Us page and how long they watched your video on your page. I have the ability to see how many people clicked on your job but didn't apply. Why didn't they apply to your position? I see you spent money, but how does that connect to a talent that's in my inbox? The AI helps me help you, the customer, to be able to bridge the gap, and using AI to help make wise recommendations. Well, the right content's not on your Why Join Us page. And AI is giving us real-time analytics to be able to look at that. So these are metrics. That's just one small metric that we can measure amongst many metrics. Glassdoor, huge analytic information that we use AI with to be able to measure your employer brand, your competitiveness, your people that you compete against and how they're using what they're using compared to what you are using. And we can see that information on the backside. So really, really strong there. Next year priorities, as 26 approaches, talent leaders need more than just ambition. They need alignment. It's your move first. Here are some suggestions. First, audit your technology stack. As current tools, workflows, integrations, do you have the right technology in your organization, yes or no? It may not just be one piece of information. You guys are looking at an ATS that you have. Maybe there's another ATS that could work better. Talk about your advertising. Is the advertising producing the ROI that you need? Is it shaking hands with a full service HRIS system with onboarding and educating people? How well does that education learning library help your company in growing? I work with a large bank on the East Coast. They're looking at utilizing LinkedIn Learning Library to educate their talent to be able to be more capable for the jobs that they need, that are jobs up and coming, because they know the growth channel that they're going down. So we're using AI to measure all of this, and this would be impossible to take 3,000 employees and look at every employee's job title and figure out what information in the learning library would match well to create a customized learning in the LinkedIn library to be able to give every individual a customized learning of how to help better them within the organization. But no worries, AI can do that very, very easily. And moreover, when we know that within one video in our 20 million videos needs to be cut out in LinkedIn, we can just cut out that 5-minute piece and plug in a new piece seamlessly with AI right there. It's just so powerful in how we're helping. And we can look in the organization and say where we've got some deficiencies. Analytics can help us with AI to evaluate some of that stuff. Other ideas, refresh your employer value proposition. Just align your brand messaging with the emerging talent. Look at, are your recruitment messaging looking in the past, or is it matching skills-based recruitment, not just resume kind of stuff? Are you kind of focused on skills and growth, and how can you train people up to do their jobs better? All right, quick wins. Here's some quick wins ideas. Number one, short term, update your creative. Look at your recruitment messaging. So few companies do this. They don't take time to look at how they promote their jobs. They same old, rewrite my job description, rewrite. I tell people this job description is not a recruitment message. Don't just cut and paste your HR job description and say that's my recruitment message. Make a recruitment message. That's something you would want to go to work for. Next, think about your video content. Almost all companies are behind on this topic. They don't even have a YouTube channel. They're not even interviewing their people. They're not even interviewing their employees, so to speak. And audit your Glassdoor presence. People comment on how good or bad your job is. You should have some comment back about thanking them, or speak to a negative review and speak to that. How much are you engaging your Glassdoor? Candidates are looking at you. Are you looking at your own Glassdoor rating and speaking into that? This is easy stuff. Time-saving automations. Use AI to reduce recruiter workload in scheduling, pre-screening. It's now dated that LinkedIn Hiring Assistant's new hiring assistant tool saves clients on average, saves companies, employees, recruiters 4 to 8 hours of getting on the database, finding candidates, looking at the reading resumes, scrubbing them, screening them, reading them, and then matching them, and then trying to get them to the interview. LinkedIn Hiring Assistant can do all that for you. Smart sourcing on Indeed.com using Indeed Connect's new tools can do that for you. And even there's another tool that's not even any of the job board stuff. There's another product that's very popular out there. A lot of big logos use it, called GEM, GEM.com. I'm just, again, dancing across the top of about hundreds of tools that I know of that I'm speaking to, but GEM is another tool that's a bolt-on extension that can work with any of your current ATSs, applicant tracking systems. Currently, there's about 320, 360 applicant tracking systems. That's a lot. So you got to think about your tech stack. You got to develop your employer value proposition or your employee value proposition. It's got to be aligned with your video library. So if you've got something to say it. As a company, here's our mission, vision, values, culture. Say some of that good stuff and let people hear about it. Established AI ethics and compliance frameworks early to gain the trust and stay ahead of regulatory shifts. I didn't really appreciate how important this was till I sat under multiple days worth of meetings at corporate headquarters at LinkedIn, owned by Microsoft. They take compliance very, very seriously. Moreover, Indeed, do you know who's in charge at Indeed? Candidates. They respect a candidate and Indeed so much They don't want to heap on candidates jobs or allow employers to spam candidates by creating, lots of rules and regulations about how employers can engage their talent pool, rules around where those ads can be broadcasted to, what are the requirements that go in advertising. There's a lot of that that goes in. So I just say that you need to know that companies take AI and ethics really, really important. These compliance things around ethics, it's being looked at. Next, we'll look into 2027. Recruiting landscape looks like it's changing. AI is going to become more truly a co-pilot to what you do and very strategic in workforce planning, not just assisting you anymore. In the future, it will be part of strategic workforce planning. It will help you in architecting hiring campaigns based on live business data and forecasts and macro signals. Talent markets will go borderless. You'll see a lot of remote recruiting. You will see also cross-border teams, digital nomad contracts, compliance as service models will become common. HR leaders will need to design systems that scale and adapt to these fluid dynamics. More profoundly, the way that we assess people is going to shift. Psychometric data and soft skill alignment will become more and weigh heavy as hard credentials, and a decentralized verification, even like, listen, blockchain-based credentialing is going to cut fraud and fast-track vetting. Whew, I'm exhausted just thinking about it. Are you? I mean, seriously, this is kind of words that was not just on the lips of our tongue, not too long ago. So I'm just saying it's just a lot, y'all. All right. Case studies real quickly. I'll give you some quick case studies how companies are using it. Chatbots are really changing the game. One fintech firm was reduced time by hire by 41% by using a chatbot. When people apply to your position, they feel like they're going to a black hole. Just use a chatbot to engage and talk with them. You'd be surprised how personal and friendly a chatbot can be. We got hamburger companies using it. I've got a lot of other hourly clients that are using this kind of a chatbot feature. There's bolt-on chatbots that you can buy. There's inbred chatbots that coincide with either an applicant tracking system. There's a lot of ways to utilize that. Another example is a global telecom company deployed multi-level driven analytics just to forecast both attrition and how things where candidates were going to go by the wayside, and they improved some proactive sourcing. So they were using AI to measure what was happening with the marketplace, and they could forecast and say, hey, we're going to be losing some people, used AI to look at their makeup of employees and said, we need to be proactive on this. Next case study was a national retailer without artificial intelligence automation saw a 2.6 times higher dropout rate at the application due to delayed replies. Candidates need to hear from you. Candidates, and then you're too busy. So utilize AI in some of that process. So what? AI is here to stay. Question is, are you leveraging it? These are questions that hopefully you've got written down here. So quick questions, here's how we can help. At Bessire & Associates, I told you we're an agency. You can either do recruiting yourself, in-house, or you can outsource it to headhunters, staffing firms, search firms. But we've developed this nice little box at the bottom called an ad agency called RPO. We can help you as a recruitment agency as much or as little as you like. The first thing that we do as a company, we just say, hey, let us work for you for free. Let's take your current recruitment advertising budget and just run it through us. We'll earn a commission from the job boards, and then we'll be able to have a baby step forward to be able to provide some services. So again, some of our clients, they don't have an internal HR department. About 50% of Bessire & Associates clients do not have a recruitment department. They have employee, payroll, but they don't have a recruitment department. So they lean on us for maybe more full-scale type of recruitment, for a director of finance, some of the C-suite type positions. So we offer that level of service. But a lot of our clients coming on board, it's just, hey, here's my recruitment advertising budget. Help me spend it smarter. Our minimum hiring budget that we typically take in is $3,000. Our average customer spends between $5,000 and $10,000 per month. And our top customers, has reached up to $50,000 a month that they spend through us. So millions of dollars run through our fingers, and we get the privilege of seeing how this technology works. So why do picket bunnies use Bessire & Associates? There's full transparency and accountability. We're vendor neutral. I don't care what you use. Just whatever we use, it needs to work, right? And we're going to help you with that. We're subject matter experts. We've been doing this a long time. One of the original LinkedIn channel partners, one of the original Indeed channel partners, partnering with them to resell their products, reaching all the way back to 2010. We have agency resources at the agency desk. You don't have access to that. We do. I can pick up the phone and get customer service. By the way, Glassdoor doesn't have customer service anymore. They've got an email address that you can go to. Best of all, no added cost to your budget. And most of all, companies say, Jason, I never knew there was a solution like your company, and I didn't know a company like yours existed. So that's kind of a nice compliment. So at the end of the day, we're just trying to help companies purchase recruitment advertising and build a brand that everybody wants to work for and to optimize the performance of those existing products. So we're doing that and helping companies in great ways. I just brought this up as an analogy to let you know how we get paid. You know, a travel agency, when you go to a travel agency, they're making a commission from the airlines. You don't want to pay a travel agency any extra money when you go in. You want the cheapest ticket, you want the best seat, you want the best service. And if the airline goes defunct, you want your money back, right? So we're kind of that kind of a travel agency towards, so just a way to describe. Group health insurance works the same way. When you work with a group health insurance agent, you don't have to pay them a fee. They make it from the insurance company. So this is the buckets we work in. We help clients first and foremost with their monthly spend. Then we help them build their brand. Then we help them with their annual recruitment products. And so when I talked to you about that minimum, these annual recruitment products, they buy them annually. So it's a makeup of just the blended tools is average about $60,000, $36,000 to $50,000 a year of those tools. We do some consulting as well. We help company with big recruitment projects that they need to be able to utilize. And then that's it. So if you have questions, we just love people to schedule a discovery call. Put your checkbook away. We're not going to spend anything. We're not going to buy anything. We're just going to talk about your needs first. Or from today, if you have a question around need some talent insights, I'm going to show you that maybe at the very end in our Q&A. We have a really cool report that can tell you what the labor pressure is in your local market. So give me a job title, and I'll tell you how many other people are looking for that job title, how much money that job title demands. I'll give you a numeric score as to how difficult or non-difficult it is to find that talent, who the competitors are, and I can help you with all that information. We call that a labor pressure report, and thinking about that. So on our website, this is, if you scan this, this is our website. Takes you here to, this is a front page. Schedule a call right off of our website at Bessire.com, or a recruitment assessment gets you access to that hiring insight. So, all right, put a pin in it. You've got questions, I've got answers. That was a lot of data, a lot of information, but you no longer have an I can't find them candidates. I can't find the right people. I tell clients, you can find and see all the talent you need. You may have an I can't hire them problem, but you do not have an I can't find them problem. Big data guarantees that you can see all the hiring and all the people that you need to be able to recruit right away. So, all right, enough of that. What are your questions?
Top businesses that are out there, from your experience, what percentage of businesses don't know of all the tools that are available?
Well, I can tell you that Indeed has just rolled out Indeed Connect. Everybody knows a little bit of something, but we're getting phone calls now from customers that are seeing new features on Indeed.com, and they're trickling the features out a little bit. Like there's like only 1/4 of Indeed's customer base has seen something called Talent Scout. See, now you just heard Talent Scout. Have you anybody heard of Talent Scout yet? How they treat candidates and how they treat employers with the use of AI is going to be like, you have never seen what I'm about to tell you, and it's going to be changing. We were just talking about, you know, of a guy who owns a website. He's helping coach people about how to interview for jobs. LinkedIn has had this product in existence for 5 years. This product that they have, they're going to actually, LinkedIn's going to allow you, and Indeed's going to allow you to do mock interviews before you go interview for the job that you just applied for. They'll even tell you how many ums you said in the interview process with a mock interview candidate, and it'll flip it. It'll allow your current, let's just say I work at Tesla. And in Tesla, it posts jobs inside of Tesla. And Tesla bought Indeed.com. And Indeed.com has all the jobs of Tesla. But I'm working in the accounting department, I want to step up. Tesla can buy Indeed's products in such a way that even the accounting person can go on and apply towards that job to move up within the company And it can help them figure out where their deficiencies are in their skill sets to be able to skill up, to be able to get that next job within Indeed. And Tesla can provide the LinkedIn or the Indeed Learning Laboratory or the Udemy Learning Library to be able to upskill them to be able to get that next job. So they're carrying Tesla for their employees even within the organization, all backed by AI and all backed by customization. It is radical. And I saw with my own eyes and heard with my own ears these tools talking to one another in a demo that I was at in California. And you're going to be seeing it. Buckle up. It's just a couple of weeks, months away. It's just right here on the doorstep, right here in front of you. It's happening right now. So good question. Good thought right there. What else?
Jason,
Yeah.
outbound recruiting.
What's that?
Outbound recruiting. So you
Outbound
talk about
recruiting.
you talk about the AI screening candidates, talk about the AI sifting through the database saying, hey, these are some people we should reach out to. You talked about chatbots on the inbound side. What about actually going out and reaching out and contacting people and saying, hey, we've got a job, we want to talk to you?
So I can speak about outbound recruiting and how artificial intelligence is helping companies reach outbound to companies. I have to speak at it in terms of either from the mindset of I'm thinking about LinkedIn Hiring Assistant, what that tool does, or I'm thinking about what does the Indeed outbound tool do, or what does a third party, clunky, different, these other well-oiled machines because they got deep, deep pockets to build it out. But it's all changing at the same time. I'm going to focus with you specifically on LinkedIn. So I work with a very large staffing headhunter search firm company that covers the world. And they utilize the LinkedIn Hiring Assistant. They used to be old school, doing the old traditional way. Look in the database, reach out, find candidates. Then find candidates, email candidates. Hey, wouldn't you be interested in my job opportunity? Wait for the candidate to respond back. You burn an email credit to reach out to that candidate on LinkedIn. They may or may not reply back. And it just takes you a lot of time. Conversely, LinkedIn Hiring Assistant. You verbalize to LinkedIn Hiring Assistant, this is what I'm looking for. Cut and paste the job description in LinkedIn Hiring Assistant. It understands what you think, it understands what you need, it understands your personality and how Todd likes to recruit. It actually will craft, it'll go in the database, look for all the candidates that match that job description, reach out to those candidates with an email that is 4 times better in terms of replies than your personal crafted email. Already documented. The data shows us that 2 to 4 times more powerful replies if you let AI generate the reach out. It can actually customize up to 3 different pieces of information based on their profile on LinkedIn. So when it sends the email, it is very, very personal. And it can reach out via talk, via text, via email, and it can do that persistently and consistently on a frequency that's respectable, so to speak. And then reaching out to candidates, and if it talks to AI and Leha says, yes, I like you, and you pass the smell test, the scrub test, whatever, it can schedule you for an interview. And then boom, you've got your slate. And then you as a recruiter come in the next morning and you see all the work that it did. By the way, I say next morning. Why do I say that? Because again, it's not indexed information. It's actually thinking. These AI tools are thinking. That's why I was impressed every time I saw NVIDIA, when I saw Apple, and when I saw LinkedIn's building. There's another building sitting right next to it. What is that building? It's the data processing building. It's these storage buildings that are trying to build right here in Matthews, that people are fighting against. It takes an immense amount of electricity and energy and time. These old search LinkedIn Hiring Assistant products that they used to have would take up to 2 to 5 hours to be able to do the search. They said our minimum is 10 minutes. It still takes a few seconds for it to go out and do the work, and it's still working for you. You may have to leave your desk and wait 30 minutes to come back for it to do, because it's thinking. It's thinking. You say, one of you guys asked a question earlier, you said, is the hiring assistant for LinkedIn, this was a great question I heard, as the hiring assistant at LinkedIn, is it personally mine and does it treat everybody fairly? Surprisingly, there's a baseline of learning that it does that is equal and fair and non-personalized, and there's an extra element of personalization based on your personality, how you like to talk. Are you curt? Are you short? Are you long-winded? Whatever. And it customizes to you. And so when you leave the organization, what happens to that hiring assistant? You just moved to another company. It's been learning. Can you take it with you, put it in your pocket? Because I was a good recruiter there and I could be a good recruiter at this company. No, you don't own it. The company owns it. It's a hiring assistant. It's not you. It's an assistant. It's kind of weird, isn't it? It's an assistant. Him or her. What is it, him or her? I don't know. It's just an assistant is all I'm saying. It's quite interesting. So, and it's got to have ethics, it's got to have values, it's got to have some baseline to be able to work from, but it also can be personalized up to a point. So, AI. Is that helpful to think about that a little bit? All right, what else?
Yeah. Costs with all these capabilities increase, or is AI so efficient that it'll maintain the same level?
Yeah, how much does this artificial intelligence cost? Wow, that's a big question. It's as random as the current numbers of grains of sand on the ocean. I can sit here and we can talk about each individual product. There's some pretty big incentives right now for you to use this generation of the hiring assistant. There's some huge incentives right now. They want to get you into the product. They want you to utilize the product. And there's some significant reasons why you would want to say, hey, let's lock in now, because next year it ain't getting any cheaper, and it ain't getting any cheaper, and it ain't getting. And there's different levels of how much you can get of that product. You need the small, medium, or large, even within the tool. Like, do you need it just like for once a month, or do you need that thing to crank out nationwide and you fill out 1,000 positions a year? That's going to require more what? Electricity. Literally, electricity to do the work. So they price it accordingly. So they've got a small price, a medium price, and a large price. You can now get, right now, at the small price, you can get the medium solution at the small price. So that's the way some of these companies are selling it. I won't be specific, but I'll just, if we start talking like that, I'll help you understand that a little bit more. But they really, really want you to buy in. And they'll give it to you to the term at that same price for years on and out. So companies don't understand that. There's a real smartness around buying in advance to get the advanced features, bells and whistles, because there's products and it can continue to get better, but you don't want your price to continue to go up. They're going to charge for it. Good questions. What else?
So second follow-up question is, so my business owning clients that use Indeed and you, how are they going to be educated about this? How are they going to know about it? Are you guys pushing the information out that it should happen organically?
Yeah, Q1's our target date for really pushing it upon our clients. I utilize LinkedIn and I put video content and actually static image content on my LinkedIn channel almost weekly. So I'm educating my clientele about this topic. Obviously, all the applicant tracking systems, all your job board portals, LinkedIn, Indeed, Glassdoor, ZipRecruiter. You hear about it on ZipRecruiter on TV. I've heard it on my Sirius Radio XM. You're seeing commercials on TV. So we're poking the bear right now. People are already hearing about it, and then they call us and say, can you explain that a little bit more in layman's language? And we're happy to schedule demos with the vendors that they might want to talk to more about those products. But it's nice to have an unbiased third party who can speak intelligently about all the products and help you compare A, B, C, or D. Is it worth buying LinkedIn Hiring Assistant, or do I need Indeed, or can I just buy ZipRecruiter? And what's the price difference between all three of those solutions? And how robust is their AI? And there's a lot of things to consider.
You have a condensed version of this that I can send my clients so that they can.
Well, you should use your ChatGPT to create a condensed version of my presentation. But yeah, we probably could work on something together. Anyway, AI can condense it for you. That's a great, great question. What else?
Jason, I think your hidden gem is your insights report, because
we'll look at that real quick.
If I were hiring somebody, I mean, you HR specialists know, like, you probably ask them for their salary history. You want to give them a little bump so they're incentivized to take the job, but you don't know if that's a fair market value. But Jason has the data that gives you the right number and the range to say, here's a competitive number without underpaying or overpaying.
Here's an insights report. Does anybody want to give me one that they want? Give me a job title. We've got some employers.
What's over? Huh? Controller.
Controller. In what city do you need a controller?
Yeah.
So what's the labor pressure on controller? So we'll look at a controller, we'll look at create a report. So we'll look at a hiring insights report for a controller in Charlotte, North Carolina. The labor pressure says right now we got low labor pressure. We got currently 46 jobs. And imagine each page on Indeed has 10 jobs per page. So how many pages of controller jobs are there on Indeed? 5 pages of jobs. And so only 5 pages. And on average, candidates go to page 1, page 2, page 3. Do they go to page 4? Do they go to page 5? Yeah. So that's why when you see this and you've got 100 or 200 jobs, you need to spend money to increase what? Number of candidates that apply? No. Spend money on Indeed to increase visibility. That's very important. Why do we spend money? To increase visibility.
It's different than traditional paid advertising, where you cannot buy your way to the top through Google paid ads, but with Jason's expertise, you can work your way to the top. It's pay to play.
That's right. So even though Indeed gives you free organic exposure through your applicant tracking system, 95, 98% of all ATSs do, you still have to have a moderate spend. I tell clients, if it's worth posting a job and suggesting that you have a need, it's worth spending money on to elevate your job. Now, everybody will have their own experiences, but you can take that one to the bank almost any time. With a moderate budget or a budget that's a little bit more aggressive relative to this number on labor pressure. How many other jobs are utilizing this particular job title that am I competing with? That's really, really key. And so we know we've got access to job seekers, 3,524 controllers. That's 77 job seekers per ad, and only half of these people are looking on a mobile device to be able to look for their jobs. And the compensation, I can bet if my controller job's $70,000 a year, I'm coming in way under budget versus what an average controller would earn. And then more on top of that, there's only 27 employers looking for controllers right now on Indeed in the Charlotte marketplace. And here are the top search terms that you should be utilizing or weaving into your ad to create SEO, job optimization in your ads. Write it in a way that creates natural optimization in addition to paid increased visibility. And these are the top employers' names of companies that are looking for controllers in Charlotte that I can go look at my job compared to their job and how much they're paying so I know exactly where I stand in the market. Now, isn't that valuable information based on that job title? Shouldn't you be doing that for every single job title and every organization that you work with, work for, to have this data in your back pocket and use to your benefit to stand out above and beyond? I would find out what all these jobs are. What is Maersk offering as a controller? Vaco, that's a staffing firm. So they're probably getting a bunch of controllers to go here. Vaco's using this one to sell back to Maersk. That's exactly what's happening. Have I got some controllers for you, Maersk? I got about 15 of them ready for you to interview, and you could pay me how much? 20 to 30% of first year annual salary. Good questions. Oh, but you want to be independent. Maybe you need to buy the resume database. How many controller resumes are there in Charlotte, North Carolina? There's 478 of them. How fresh are they? 22 were added in the last 60 days. Wow, 22 new resumes for controller. For $400, you can have access to that information right now. Smart Source. You can buy it annually and save 20%. Buy the solution annually. Now, we didn't talk about this, and I didn't plan on talking about this, but this right here, this is the new deck I have for relative to Indeed, and this is the new deck that I have for, let's see here, for what Indeed Connects is all about. They're transforming from a job search site to an AI-powered sourcing and engagement platform. It is huge. We're not have time to get into it, but Indeed Connect is a subscription that unlocks a suite of advanced hiring solutions and future innovations, include future, it's not even out yet, innovation. Some's coming out Q1, some's coming out Q2. You're seeing something that you haven't seen anywhere else. And it's AI-powered tools like advanced screening, advanced sourcing, and candidate summaries, very powerful. And it's available at no charge, but requires employers to enable Indeed apply 100% of their jobs be indexed on Indeed. That is, no one knows this information but you. Now, your two organizations do automatically, you have an ATS that organically pushes all those jobs. So you have this feature when it rolls out Q1 of next year. Now you got to figure out how to utilize it. Now you got to figure out how to use it, how to be able to engage the new products and services that's going to be able to be something you can use, so to speak. So I didn't expect to show you guys this stuff, but I've got several new decks of new information that's just kind of not even released yet. So it's exciting. All right, you're asking good questions.
And when people don't want to have to learn all this stuff, you are there to educate them and guide them, and they don't have to learn about this stuff.
Yeah, if you want to do our full service recruitment process outsourcing, you can leverage us. But we want to help you do as much or as little of the recruitment process as you like. So the majority of our clients, only less than 20% of our clients lean on us for any help. We're here to help you buy the tools that you're already using, that you already have a spend on. So just run that spend through us and let us be your customer service. Let us be your billing agent. Let us not let you overspend. Let us protect you. Let us help you, give you counsel around that spend so that you get better ROI from those products. I don't want you to overspend, but I don't want you to underspend. There is a sweet spot every company has that they should be spending within the sweet spot to be able to get your jobs visibility, ideally on page 1, 2, or 3. Go past page 3, candidates just aren't going to go that far. And that Hiring Insights report tells you how many jobs that there are. So that's really good. What else? Yeah.
Do you have any data about, applicants now that use AI, that should be using AI, generally what they do is they take the job description, throw it into Gemini, throw the resume in, and say, create a resume that matches this job description, based on my experience. So a lot of people are starting to do that. So you see a homogenization of applications and the backgrounds, and experience, and skill sets, because employers are using the AI, but so are the applicants. And I mean, have you seen that?
I'm excited about this question because the question is both AI is being used by candidates to make my job perfect for the job so that I get selected, and then employers are using AI to scrub and screen and try to filter. And there's this disconnect, right? Because they're not going to just shade. Everybody has their own self-preservation interests. I don't want to look at so many resumes. I just want the top resumes. And these candidates really want their resume seen, so they're going to try to make it like the top resumes. And do they ever just shake hands? The answer is yes and no, unfortunately. So you got to look at something beyond just the resume in that terms of skills, experience. Where have they been projecting, not in the past that they've done the job, but on their LinkedIn profile, they're actually putting out content, actually doing the work. If you'll go to a website called workitdaily.com, my friend JT O'Donnell is on this website. She does a phenomenal job helping educate candidates. She's the voice of talent, and she's speaking in a very powerful way, helping candidates understand how the algorithm has changed, the game has changed on LinkedIn, and how to not be gamed by the algorithm, but try to project a more robust, just resume only, but a skills-based resume that speaks to, and that is how the nuances of the new LinkedIn algorithm is being able to be utilized. And those are being woven into the new algorithms and constantly being changing. But the tension that you just described is very true, that both of them are competing against one another. How do you wave? I'm just saying it's a tension that we're all kind of working through. And the answer to that question, I think, is still being written in terms of what's going to happen.
Well, and that kind of, it's a leading question to ultimately what you just described is true. It's happening. And employers have to take advantage of it. And it's going to make hiring more efficient from job posting application to hiring. But ultimately, what I'm hearing is having 3 daughters in college looking for jobs and all their friends and everything like that, looking at the data, is ultimately what it comes down to is you got to know someone that knows someone at least in the company. And you have to have a referral, and you also have to have a good interview, because that can't be AI'd out.
Huh?
So I mean, it's based. So from a recruiter standpoint, you got to also proactively look for people that know people within the company and use referral relationships, as well as people looking for jobs have to be getting networked into companies. Like you said there's about a dozen companies up there, whether it's Domtar, Maersk, Schleich, Shelter. If you want to work for those companies, you got to find a way to get to know some of those companies to get around the AI that will probably cut you out if you don't have a relationship.
You're nailing it. There's no way to get around the warm referral, get around the networking opportunity to find a person within, how to figure out the syntax of an email address of a high-level HR person or ideally a hiring manager. So this coaching that I'm talking about right here, that's, that makes that coaching, and there's some really smart people on the internet at free YouTube channels. I'm just promoting one person, her girl JT O'Donnell, workitdaily.com. She's super duper smart around helping people, and she doesn't charge anything for all her free content on the other. She does have a paid version as well, but this is just a really truth speaking. I would hate to be a candidate today looking for a job. I'm just glad I'm glad I'm employed. So
to address his part of his question, I was reading an article about a month ago, and candidates are now putting in code in their resume, like where it's whited out, that says ignore blah blah blah. Put me at the top of put my resume at the top of your stack. And they were being successful with that. And of course, companies have figured this out, obviously, but because they were an anomaly for the other resumes they were getting, so people didn't figure it out.
That's amazing.
It's still amazing that they were doing it.
Yeah.
That's an old black hat SEO trick.
Yeah.
White text on a white background.
Yep.
Only the robot can see it.
Yep.
Humans don't see it.
Yep.
The algorithms, they find out later and they penalize you a bit.
the good news is that technology companies are ahead of the game on that. The tensions that we're talking about feeling have probably already been thought about 3-5 years in advance. And one of the tensions at Indeed.com is if you're a sponsored job spend and you spend money on a job, you don't want that job continuously spending money on that job to serve up the job to get seen by a candidate every time they're looking for that particular job with that type of search and the candidate doesn't apply. Happened about a year ago that Indeed would serve that job up 3 times, like a nurse position. A nurse, she's looking for a job, he or she, and they type in nurse in Baltimore, Maryland, and they do it 3 times and they don't ever apply, they just look at jobs. Indeed would suppress for a period of time, serving that person jobs for a period to be able to not waste your money. Employers get online, look for their own nurse jobs multiple times, and all of a sudden the employer calls me and says, Jason, I can't find my job. So I was like, how many times have you looked for your own job on that same IP address? And Indeed is watching the behavior of the job seeker, protecting the spend of the employer to ensure that you don't continue to spend reaching the same job seeker over and over again. That's how detailed this AI and these solutions are becoming. They know as much about yourself and about the behavior of a job seeker and an employer as the candidate knows about themselves, and they're always trying to stay ahead of the game. So gaming the system with white back text, that was kind of squashed 5 and 7 years ago. But it was an issue for a while, and I remember it very much because we played the game on behalf of our clients trying to make that happen. You could put white text up to 5 times, but if you did it 7 times, they would slap your finger and they'd take your job and they wouldn't give you what you asked for. It was a big game. And then we watched the number change. So how do you stay ahead of the curve? What else? Nothing else? Wow. So you tell me, are you using, yeah.
Well, applies for general SEO and branding for recruiting is if you provide good content and a good user experience or candidate experience, the algorithms reward that. So as long as you're being above board and not trying to pull a fast one, you'll stay on the right side of the algorithm and you'll get better results in general.
Very much so, very much so. I'll just tease you with this is what's happening next year, and some of it's happening now. The new Indeed.com Indeed Connect is going to have a more streamlined applications. There'll be no more redirects. Your applicant tracking system is going to shake hands. Your applicant tracking system, there's over 300 of them, 320 of them on planet Earth right now in America, is going to shake hands with Indeed.com in an ideal world seamlessly, and whatever information the candidate puts on Indeed.com is going to seamlessly appear in your ATS. Either you're going to get on board and you're going to cooperate with the program, or you're going to suffer big repercussions as an employer for not doing what Indeed is asking you to do, i.e. be Indeed friendly. And LinkedIn's asking for the same thing. Why? Because that data around the apply path of a candidate from seeing your job post to applying to your job, potentially getting an interview, and then ultimately being hired by your company, those multiple steps, if they have access to your ATS and you use your ATS to document that workflow, that's data that's important to Indeed and LinkedIn in such a way that they can see that workflow and that data, and they can use analytics to really build a profile of a candidate, and it becomes very valuable information as to find out where candidates are going, what the behavior is of candidates, and how that's all working, and justify the expenditure of your talent or your spend on their platforms. You hear what I'm saying? So streamlining, no redirects, no repetitive questions. You don't have to ask questions on Indeed and then re-ask them on an ATS. They want to make sure it's mobile optimized. Screener questions aligning with your applicant tracking system to ensure accurate and consistent collection of data. Automating real-time data transfer, so it's not going to take out. Right now, it takes 5 to 10 hours for you to take your ATS, post a job, then it appears for free on Indeed.com, and as soon as it does, you've got my hashtag code that makes the job's visibility happen really, really well. But even in doing that, it takes some time. With this new Indeed Connect, it'll just be seamless. It'll be instant, it'll be real time. You want to enable feedback loop, source tracking, so you want to source where candidates are getting hired from, sourcing. You want to see where talent, what source did they come from? LinkedIn, ZipRecruiter? Did they come from a referral? Did they come from a college career fair? You need that information. Phone number is being verified, privacy is being respected. Lots of good stuff here. Anything else? If you've got questions, if you know of people who need this information, if you want somebody to give somebody a gift that's not going to charge, again, our fees are wrapped up in Indeed and LinkedIn and Glassdoor. We would just love to have a discovery call with people that you know that utilize these vendors to just get more without having to spend more.